If you have not joined the Potential Zone Group.com, you'll want to get over there and sign up for that over there. It's free. And this is where I do my lives as well. So Evine, my phonics is horrible. Hey, everybody, glad you're here. So we're going to talk about exposing the 10X fallacy and what makes that possible. Because, see, I get it. People are selling what they're selling. They're pushing programs. They're giving away the latest strategy, the techniques, all of that stuff. I get that, right? And all that stuff has its place. All of that stuff has a purpose. That is why I'm not hearing myself. I got to plug my mic in. There we go. Much better. Jeez, it's amazing what happens when you plug the mic in. Is understanding that all of these have a place in somebody creating what it is that they want to create, right? But at the end of the day, there is one thing that is more important than any course, any education, any relationship, anything. There's one thing that's more important about that than anything else. And I've got all kinds of evidence that validates this. I've got all kinds of data that validate this. And I mean, the thing that's super important is understanding that what you resist is going to persist, and what you resist is also going to be the anchors of what's holding you back, right? And whether it's in relationship, business, money, like your relationship with money has a lot to do with how much you value who you are. Has a lot to do with it, right? How you value yourself has a lot to do with what type of relationships you end up getting yourself into. Manifest the positive. Yes, that's part of it. Positive thinking will only get you so far, because what's running everything underneath you is your subconscious. And like right now, your heartbeat is beating, you are breathing, and you weren't even conscious of it until I just said that, right? So positive thinking has its place without a doubt, but it's getting into the deeper programs, right? Because 75% of what's running your life was learned by the age of 5, right? And we live in a society, like right now, we live in a society that if you speak truth, you're going to be canceled, right? We can't say anything that's going to offend anybody. But see, the thing that we're not teaching them is understanding that when somebody's offended, that's their journey, right? Like, I get it. There's a difference between that and actually showing up in a way that's toxic, right? Or hostile, right? Being offended by someone that shows up toxic or hostile is a little bit different than somebody sharing a truth and not offending somebody, right? Like if I call a person overweight, you're overweight, right? Like that's just truth. It's just truth, right? Then we are creating a culture that we can't say that. We can't call people forward, right? And that's the culture that we're living in. And this is what's causing more people. The more your insides are separate from your outsides, the more you're going to suffer. The more you suffer, the less you're going to be able to step into your power. That's just how simple it really is, right? So the 10X factor is literally you becoming 10 times expanded of who you are, right? Like you believing in 10 times more exponential growth in whatever areas that you wanted to grow in, and believing that and becoming that. Right? Because we've all been sold this bill of goods is that you have to have this in order for you to do this, then you get to be this. So think about what I'm saying. You have to have the property, the material, the whatever, in order for you to be able to do something, which is the action. Then you get to be, which is your identity. So think about how much of a problem that is, right? And that is, I just told you the marketing strategy that they all use, right? Let's make you feel inadequate so that you have to have this so that it stops the suffering. And then once you get to stop the suffering, then you get to be this person, right? Like just understand, friends, most disease, I can't say it because I will trigger some things, right? Potentially, ostensibly possible, all things come from trapped emotion. Just saying it, right? Like how you eat, your relationship with money, your relationship with other people, your relationship with you, your relationship of what you do in your career, like all of it comes from your relationship with you. All of it, right? And so you learning to understand that there's nobody in this planet ever has, is, or going to be ever going to be someone like you, right? And so think about like, I want you to think about this. What do you want to leave on this planet when you go? We're all going to die, right? Like, we're all going to die. We're all going to not be here someday. We're all going to pass into a different dimension. And whatever you believe about that, I want you to think about, let's say, go out 200 years, go out 200 years. And that's probably, what is it? Generations, 30 years. So that would be like 7 generations, right? 7 generations out. Like, think about how big that would become from you, right? Like, say you had 2 children, those 2 children had 2 children, and so on and so forth, right? If something doubles for 31 days, it ends up being like $10.5 million, right? If you take a penny and double it for 31 days, it ends up being like $10.5 million. Okay. So think about how many people you're going to impact that many generations from now. Okay. And then you being able to go, what do you want the seeds that you planted to harvest? What kind of crop do you want to plant now? How do you want to impact people's lives now? What do you want to be remembered for? And it's not even so much like, I don't want to be remembered. Like, of course, yeah, okay, that's cool. But I would rather, like, what is the greatest compliment you've ever got in your life? What is the greatest compliment you've ever got in your life? Okay. Now, if that is challenging for you to access, that's the point of me asking it, right? Why is Spirit talking about CERN when I come in here? Not sure what CERN is for you, but that's interesting. That's really, really interesting, right? To be kind. Okay. You might not want to watch a video that I just posted up there about being kind, right? What does being kind mean to you? Right? Like, what does kind mean being to you? And there's somebody on there that's posted some great things to think about, right? But a lot of people don't really even know what kind means, right? And a lot of people show up in life and they don't even know what a lot of things that they do in their life, what it means, right? Like standing in your power, right? Like, if you were raised in a house with a tyrannical father, right? Like, this is one of the biggest commonalities that I have with with most of my clients, especially men, right? Is because they were raised by a tyrannical father. Okay. Now, let me make the distinction. Tyrannical, wounded masculine is tyrannical, right? Now, masculine and feminine is not basically gender, but predominantly, obviously, with men. They were raised by tyrannical. They watched the pain that their father created for their mother, and they watched the pain and experienced the pain that the father created for them. Okay. So they made a decision about, if they step in their power, they are going to create the same thing they witnessed their tyrannical father do, which is not accurate. That is hostile, toxic behavior. There's a difference between being that way and being aggressive, right? Being aggressive is being able to stand in your power and being able to move in the direction that is being called out in you, right? And we so desperately need people standing in their truth today, right? Because if we don't know our own truth, we're not going to be able to stand into it. And then we're going to take on somebody else's agenda, right? This is so mission critical of where we're at in this time, especially like going into the election and stuff like that. Like, that's like, it's hilarious. It's hilarious what they are saying about elections. It's crazy, right? And being able to actually see the wizardry, if you want to call it that, watching the wizardry take place on the television. It's comical. It's comical, right? And understanding that what keeps people from 10xing their lives is the entanglement they have with the condition that they've had, and them getting in touch with the fact that they might have to let go of the person that they believe that they were in order to become the person that is required for them to be, to create what it is that they want to create. Like, what I just said there is super, super important. If you have abandonment issues, okay, let's just go there. Like, I had abandonment issues and still have issues that come up around it, right? If you have abandonment issues and you get familiarized with a certain part of who you are, guess what growing means? Growing means you abandoning certain aspects of who you are in order to transcend it to become something different, right? This is all opportunity for you to be able to face the things that you're afraid of the most. This is how you 10x your life, right? This is how you 10x your life. Do what you fear, and death of that fear is certain. And as I'm telling you this, I'm just being completely transparent. There's some things that are going on in my life right now that I get to face some things within myself that I would prefer not to, right? Like I seriously would prefer not to. And I also know that in order for me to go to where I want to be, these are some things that I have to go through. Right. And when you understand and embrace the fact that life's difficult, like there's growth requires challenge, like growth requires challenge. Right. So the more you understand that, the more you are going to see right here, learn more about US midterm elections. I say the word election, boom, it shows up on my life. Just want you to AI is filtering everything. Right? Like we can't even have a mature, open, authentic conversation without AI filtering it. Okay? Like I've been on the live before and boom, shut down. Right? And this is the world that we live in today. Right? And friends, I want you to get this. I want you to get this more than anything. First of all, go get the book Propaganda. Probably go a black screen here. Just wait for it to happen. Right? Go get the book Propaganda. It was written back in the 40s. Like there's multiple books called Propaganda, but you want the one that's written back in the 40s. I think you can actually get it as a free download on Google. I got to research that because I thought I had it and it wasn't the original version. Go read that, right? Because here's what's important. If somebody can control your perception, they can control how you behave. Okay? Now, our ego no, that's not true. Okay. Then just believe what you're going to believe, because most people have not been taught how to do balanced research. Most people have not been taught how to do balanced research. Why? Because to do balanced research, you have to be objective. You can't, because as soon as you start investing into, so say I read a book, okay, let's just case in point. Let's just do crazy contrast here. Say I'm reading the Bible, okay? I'm reading the Bible. All right. To do balanced research, I must also read a book about what Hitler did, right? But see, yes, the movie Focus, absolutely, totally recommend everybody doing that. It's not the government that's doing it, it's the media. It's the media that's doing it. Yes, it starts at the government without a doubt, but the media is the messenger, right? The media is what is hypnotizing us. Right. And this is what I find comical, especially by Christians. And this isn't all Christians, because not all Christians are like that. So just understand, everything I say, it's not absolutistic, right? Is that I talk about hypnosis, like, well, you can't do that. That's not in the Bible. There's all kinds of trances in the Bible, right? And understand we are always in a trance. It's just a matter of you picking and being intentional about what trance you want to be in. Every single time you watch a movie, you are literally in a trance. Just let you know that, right? Yeah, that's awesome. You don't watch the mainstream news. It's crazy. Yes, and religion, yeah, it's a dogma, right? And again, but see, this is important. This is something I want everybody to get. That, I would be lying if I would say that this is the only thing I want you to get, because there's lots of things I want you to get. But it's super important to understand this. The one that has the most behavioral flexibility is the one that's going to be in control of the system. So what do I mean by that? It means that if you keep studying what confirms your current beliefs, it will become ancestral, which means it's going to break down the functionality of it. You will not expand. You will not grow. You will not look at things in a way, because most people are designed or conditioned to not be uncomfortable. And so how do I stay comfortable? I just keep reading and studying what confirms my existing beliefs, right? And they're not going to see anything outside of that, right? And so, Hitler was a genius. What Hitler pulled off was a genius, right? Now, what he did was horrific. That's unquestionable, right? It was unquestionable, right? But we got to think about this dude had over 6 million people killed. Wouldn't it be something there to figure out, what happened there, right? He hypnotized people. Hitler knew about hypnosis, right? What are most politicians? Most politicians are lawyers, okay? What are lawyers masters at? Masters at linguistics, right? How do you connect with somebody? Through communication. Well, if I understand linguistics and I understand how to use what they call sleight of mouth, I'm going to be able to watch and correct and direct your perception. Okay. And it is in movies. It is in like, it absolutely, it's in the news, right? Like there's all kinds of videos. The news keeps just saying the same thing, right? But it's understanding, you having the flexibility and understanding that what you perceive is not reality, right? Like that right there in itself is super huge, super important, because our subconscious is always scanning. What do I pay attention to? What do I pay attention to? Right. And what it's doing, and our ego is all about protecting ourselves. So it's looking for, where am I going to get hurt? Right. And what we're going to do is we are going to take our inner world and we're going to project it out there. Right. So if you see it, like, it amazes me. It absolutely amazes me. Like I find this entertaining. I can't tell you how many times somebody has got on my lives at TikTok and said, Howie Mandel. Boom. I just got cut off. Oh my gosh. There it is. No. Somebody just shut me down. Unbelievable. Yep, this has happened to me. I don't know why. Hateful behavior. Someone said a hateful behavior. Interesting. You said it was coming. Yes. I'm going to say misunderstood my content. Yep. Yeah. See, this is crazy. This is the world we live in right now. I can't even talk about truth because they shut it down, and it's unbelievable. And everybody's complaining, not everybody, but a lot of people. Everybody is complaining about what's going on with, that is hilarious. Wow. But this is the world we live in, friends. This is the world we live in. I just got shut down from TikTok Live. At least I didn't get banned permanently. And that's just what happens. Somebody gets on there that they don't like what you say, boom, they kick you off. We live in a world where you cannot speak truth, right? And I put a video up not that long ago that said, speaking truth in a world of liars is crazy, right? Like people look at it crazy. I just flipped over here to see if you're crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't tried. It just shut me down. But see, that's like figuring out 10xing is about you stepping in your autonomy and you being able to get clear about what it is that you want to put out in this world, and then you committing to your mission, right? Because if we don't commit to our mission, what we're going to do is that we are going to be easily distracted, right? And think about how much does distraction really cost us, friends. And I'm talking to myself as I say this as well, because really getting clear about, see, procrastination is literally a strategy, right? And we do things. Yeah, TikTok shut me down. Saying something hateful. It amazes me. It just amazes me. But that's where we're at right now. And so for somebody to think that there is not a great agenda to control what we perceive, they would be willfully ignorant. They would be willfully ignorant. And I say that with all the compassion in the world, right? Because it is called tell a vision, okay? And so for you, if you want to 10x your life, you have to really know what is your truth, right? Because if you don't, you're going to take on someone else's beliefs. And what I want to share with this is, we have beliefs, and one of my well, she's now one of my partners. She was my client. She's still my client, but we're doing projects together. She said this. I used to call it first and second hand beliefs, and she called it assigned and chosen beliefs. Right? We have been given assigned beliefs that we believe are ours, and then we operate out of those beliefs. Right? And we don't even think about what is the belief and where did that belief really come from? And then what happens if we end up letting that belief go? Oh, could have been. Yeah, somebody put on here that he thinks it could have been because I said Hitler. Isn't that amazing? Like here's this, and I'm so glad you said that, Angel, because think about that. How the one that controls the history is the one that controls the narrative. How much history, like think about this. Now, I know things have changed a little bit since when I went to school, actually a whole bunch. I didn't know who Nikolai Tesla was until the band Tesla came out. And I was talking to my stepbrother that I had at that time, and I'm like, dude, I mean, and he's like, you don't know who Tesla is? I'm like, no, I never heard his name ever. And then he started telling me who Tesla was. And then I go out to the Smithsonian and see like all of this stuff about Thomas Edison and all the things that Thomas Edison designed. And it's amazing. I would encourage you to go see the Smithsonian. It's pretty amazing. Always dreamed about seeing the Smithsonian because they've got a lot of gems. And as you know, I've got a jewelry background. But then at the end of all of Edison's things, like a massive building's built for this dude, right? I don't know if it's built for him, but all of his stuff's in there. And at the very end of it, there's an 8x10 plaque, little picture of Nikola Tesla. I'm like, wow, 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 wow. And see, most people don't even know that Nikola Tesla was the one that discovered AC current, right? Thomas Edison was DC current. Yeah. And some of the like, you need to go do your research on how that all went down and what they did to Tesla. It was horrific what they did to him. Guy was a genius. Now, again, he was genius, but there were some things that he had too that impacted how he allowed himself to be treated, right? So I died in a hotel, broke and alone, right? Is because of just how he showed up in certain areas, right? So you could look at it like starving artist syndrome, right? Starving artist syndrome, got a very intimate relationship with that, right? But it's also plays out in coaching, plays out in a lot of different things, right? And if we do not value what we have to offer, we will not protect it. Right. And he obviously had major issues with money. Right. Yeah. Smithsonian is incredible. Right. Like there's lots of history, like going to Gettysburg and all that stuff. It very, 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 very moving. Right. But I'm saying this because this shows all about getting 10Xing your life. How you 10X your life, is you letting go of what keeps you playing at the level that you're playing at right now. Right. Yes. Watch The Men Who Built America. Great, great, great series. Yeah. And that's still ran through a television network. Right. So again, understand that what you perceive is not all reality. Right. There are like, if you can control the narrative of the story, right, you get to like I didn't know a lot of this stuff. And then I just started hanging out with people that actually did research and critical thinkers and things like that. Just like the word critical thinker. Like I just want, or not critical thinker, conspiracy theorist. Like the FBI came up with that term, or the CIA, not the FBI, the CIA came up with that term. They demonized people that had critical thinking and started inquiring about Kennedy's assassination. They created a term like, don't be a conspiracy theorist. And guess what? It's still happening today. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm a critical thinker, right? And I don't believe the agenda. Now, is there truth in it? For sure, right? There's a part of truth in every story, right? But it's just how embellished is the rest of it, right? They can make you believe whatever it is that you want to believe. And so I say that to you is, what is it that you really believe? What is it that you really believe? What is it that you're arguing for? Are you arguing for your excuses? And your excuses are very, very, very expensive beliefs. Your excuses are very, very, very expensive beliefs, right? And so what are you arguing for? What are you arguing for? And understand that there is nobody in this world. Yeah, George Carlin. George Carlin, that old boy. Yeah, that old boy spoke some truth. But yeah, friends, understand that I get that like some of the kickback Elon Musk is getting right now is around all the time the N-word's been used and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, cool. Got it. And like, I get it. We need to learn to be considerate. We need to stop thinking about ourselves and how much hip hop and rap music uses those terms, right? Like, right? Like we've got to look at how are we creating what we are creating. And if all of us took responsibility for what we supported, right? Like there's songs that I listen to that there's terms in there that I don't necessarily align with. And I still listen to it because I look at it from a different vantage point. And there's been stuff that I've triggered that no longer trigger me just because I'm on this journey and healing and transcending. So going back to the whole point of this whole show is, and you guys got to witness it, like I just got kicked off TikTok. They shut my live down, right? Is under like case in point, right? Doesn't mean I'm going to stop. Doesn't mean I'm going to quit. Like I lost 5 MySpaces. I've had, I don't know how many YouTube accounts shut down. I can't tell you. Like one of the biggest ones, the most painful one I got is when I had my website in the top 100,000 websites in the world, top 100,000 websites in the world, right? This was about 12 years ago, 11, 12 years ago. And I went to log into it and had a demon laughing at my screen, like, oh, and guess what? I had not backed up any of the document. I didn't have, like, that was, oh, a gut punch that I'll never forget. Right. But my point in saying all this is, what are you committed to? Like, you being committed to what it is that you want to create, you will not allow other things that come in to take you off course or where you want. So just like it says, I don't know if it's in Proverbs or where it says it, but it says evil will prevail unless good men do something. We need to get backbone. We need to get backbone. And I get it. When somebody shows up with backbone, and sometimes it can be shown up in a toxic way, that it really triggers people. And so rather than having them look at their own wounds and what they're projecting onto that person, right, it's understanding that this person had a backbone. This person said some things that needed to be said. This person called out the people that needed to be called out, right? But again, we are being like, look, just go watch the movie WALL-E. Like that is so important. The challenge is to prepare you. The challenge is there to prepare you, right? Because you going through what you are going through, wherever you're at right now in your life, wherever you're at right now in your life, right, is being able to go through what it is required for you to go through so that you get to become the person that is going to be able to be responsible with the blessing, right? It's not a destination. It's who you get to become and going through what you get to go through, right? And really being able to stay true to what has been given to you. Our greatest desire is also our greatest fear. It just is the way it is, right? Like, there's a part in you, your higher self is calling you forward. And in order for you to understand what you have to understand, you do what you fear, and death of that fear is certain, right? And like I said, you can change cognitively, unconsciously, through hypnosis, timeline therapy, whatever, working with me. Well, cognitively, you can do that as well, but also behaviorally, right? Like behaviorally pushing yourself through the thresholds and being able to create what it is that you really want to create, right? So I am going to be checking out here. That's unfortunate. My live got shut down. Hopefully I can get it back tomorrow. We'll see what happens with that. But I appreciate everybody being here. I love each and every one of you. If you have not signed up for the ROI Accelerator Challenge, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. There is some amazing, amazing things happening over there. And I am sharing the reason, what inspired me to create this course was I was going to do a course called the Ultimate Influencer, right? And wow, that's interesting. That came up. It was going to be called the Ultimate Influencer, and I could see, just because of where we're at, that it was time that I put this out there. So, and then also I wanted to do everything I could to get people to support to create their own economy, right? And understand what your biggest expenses are. Because if you don't know what your biggest expenses are, you're paying them and you're not even aware that you're paying them. So sign up for the ROI Accelerator Challenge. It will be one of the greatest investments you've ever made. So I appreciate everybody being here. Much love, and I will see you next time. Until then, be blessed and live like your life depends on it, because it does. Take care.